So the idea is to be clear. And what does it mean to be clear? So let's see, let me probe you. And now remember, don't just dribble. Be clear about what you're going to say. What does it mean to be clear? Yes.
Is this on?
Yeah.
I think that feeling of ease that your path is open.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a definition of what it means to be clear. You would say nothing. It would just happen. It would just happen. You would have nothing to say when you're clear. Nothing, because the whole universe then gets whatever it needs. But it's waiting on you. So if you're the most important being in the cosmos, if you're not clear, it's all hell to pay. So I'm only here to say to you, hello, get clear. Well, what does it mean to be clear? No information. The whole universe is run by information. Can I say that? The whole universe is run by information. But when you're at zero, there is no information flowing. You go into neutral automatically. And in neutral, that's when you get inspired. That's when brand new information comes in. But you got to be at zero. No information flowing. Any of you ever been at zero where you show up and you're trying to what? Convince people to buy your product, do marketing, do all that stuff. It's a waste of time if you're not clear. But if you're clear, the right people show up and people buy your product and you don't even know why they do it. I'm going to pause to see if I'm unclear so I get to see if I can wipe it out. So the whole notion is if you're clear, you say nothing. It just happens. So all this idea of, well, I can, can you imagine? Let's take your computer back to zero. What would come up on your computer if it had no data in it? Nothing. Nothing. And that's where I want to take you. I want to take you to nothing. So the old story about Adam and Eve, where they're running around in heaven, and what do you think? One of the things they didn't notice when they were running around in this nirvana state. What do you think? One of the things they didn't notice. They didn't know that they were naked. So they didn't get into this idea, oh, I'm naked, I should be putting clothes on. So the idea is when the mind is naked, it moves, it doesn't pay attention to anything. It's not gripped in beliefs, right, wrong, all that sort of stuff. So the idea is to get to have your mind naked, zero, no information flowing. Now that's the tough one, because we're loaded. You cannot believe how we're loaded with stuff. I mean, we're loaded. Did you know, for example, that you are clueless? Can I say that again? Some of you don't believe this, But you are clueless as to what is going on. Clueless. And it's wonderful to be clueless. Really, I'm going to tell you how wonderful it is to be clueless. But there's a book called User Illusion, for example, where the author is looking at a compilation of research, and the author comes to the conclusion that out of 11 bits of information going at any second, 11 million, the conscious mind is only aware of 15 per second. And it says, I know. And the whole universe just goes into a big laugh. Really. So please know that this is where we want to go. We want to come back to zero. Zero being defined as no information playing. And when you're at zero, everybody else will be at zero. And then when you're at zero, something wonderful happens. Something absolutely wonderful. You get inspired. This is called the I am, perfect information for you, for your own mind. And then because you're at this state, the whole cosmos becomes inspired. So if you're running a business or you're having a family, the right children will show up in your life. The right woman will show up, the right man will show up, however it works. And if it's right for you, it'll be right for whoever shows up in your life. So the idea is to be naked. Naked being defined as no information. And so the Ho'oponopono is about taking you back to no information, and by being no information, this is called what? Freedom. So I'm just going to define, this is freedom. And when you are free, at that moment the whole cosmos becomes free. And if the cosmos, because you are free, you'll get whatever is right for you. This is called inspiration, information that will move you, the right talents, the right relationships, and it'll happen for everybody else. So if you're running a business, the right people will buy your product, not anybody. The right people will buy your product, as opposed to trying to do the whole, like a shotgun, boom, 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 boom. You're hoping somebody falls and buys your product. But the idea is, the Ho'oponopono is about being naked. I'm sorry, it's gonna sound like an old record, but okay. This is home base. This is who you are. Who am I? I'm nothing. I'm not black. I'm not brown. I'm not pink. I'm not Hawaiian. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Catholic. When you're this way, you are everything. So that you become nothing. You become inclusive. So everybody's in this. This is called what the Hawaiians call ohana, family. When you're at zero, everybody's family. So what happens then is you have a choice. Always a choice. Not free will. None of you have free will. But let me go over that so you're clear. Tell me what free will is. It's a dangerous question. What is free will? Since some of you believe you have free will. And again, we're just going to throw it up. No right or wrong. So somebody define for me what is free will. Looks like you're getting more cautious now. Huh? Yeah. Like that. Here's a person who's willing to take a chance.
I'm always willing to take a chance, and I think what free will is what we think we have when we're only coming from memory, from conditioned responses, programmed within ourselves from a very young age.
So let be clear. So you're going to help me get this information across. Don't give up the mic. So question: who is talking? Who just talked? I want the mic to be over here. So I want her to respond to this. So she said something, but who is talking? So you're clear. And you can say, give it to somebody else. Who is talking? When you heard her talk, who is talking?
I think all the memories and information she was
No,
talking
you got to be
about.
more clear. Who is talking? It's information talking. It's not her talking. You got to be clear. She's zero. And if she's talking and you're hearing, who's hearing? It's not you hearing. It's the information in you hearing. Huh? Yeah. So you have to make sure that you understand that it is not you that talks or hear. It's the information in you that's hearing and talking. Not you. You're zero. Nothing.
Ho'oponopono. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. If you haven't heard of it, brace yourself, because it's the most powerful, the most transformational, the most magical, the most miraculous technique I've ever come across. I'm Dr. Joe Vitale. I've written 80 books. I've recorded 15 albums. I have 200 some products. I have a coaching program, certification programs, but nothing ever has had the impact in my life as Ho'oponopono has. I've been teaching it to other people since around 2005. There is great depth to it, though it's very simple. On the very superficial level, there's really only 4 phrases, and you're kind of saying them as a quiet prayer or petition. But there's so much more to it than that. And what I really want you to do is check it out. I want you to check it out for you, your family, your friends, and ultimately for the world. It's that powerful. And as I like to say, expect miracles.